Final bite of this horrible, horrible thing in one day. A couple courtesy chews, and let's spit it out, because it's really, really disgusting. And I have to admit, I am stumped. Normally I try to make a quote-unquote good version of every gross food I make on this show, but I can't figure it out. That's where you come in. Try to make a halfway palatable version of this sandwich. Take a picture, tag me on Instagram, hashtag, I don't know, Babish Panini. The winner I choose will win a chef's knife and will have their recipe featured on the 3 million subscriber episode. Good luck, you guys. This one is a doozy.
So this recipe reminded me, the ingredients involved at least reminded me of a tiramisu, so let's get started. First, for the Doritos, we're going to be using some corn tortilla chips that we're going to take and we're going to put in a little Ziploc bag here, see if we can get them in there without spilling. And then we're going to take a rolling pin or pasta roller and just smash them up for a bit there, just give them a good smash until they're pretty small, just small enough to add some little crunch. I'm thinking kind of, if you've ever had tortilla chip chocolate, about that consistency. Next, we're going to take some mascarpone cheese and we're going to put that in a little bowl here and see if we can whip that up to get it a little bit fluffy, get some air in there. Immediately, it's really hard to put in the bowl, and then whipping it is just, yeah, this is, I don't think, can we get some leverage on this, see if we can put our back into it? No, it's not working. So, okay, yeah, we're gonna get out our food processor and see if we can do it this way, because I don't have a blender or a electric mixer, apparently. So we toss all the mascarpone cheese in the bowl there and just pulse for a bit, whip it up, get it nice and airy. We're gonna add some heavy cream. I think this is about a cup. Toss it in there while it's going. Incorporate that into the cheese, get it nice and creamy, and then we're going to have a little bit of vanilla, if I could get the focus right. Really can't, though. And next we're going to have a nice, creamy cheese mascarpone mixture. So next we're going to start on the zabaione. This is the egg mixture that goes into the tiramisu. So we're going to take some eggs here, if you don't know what eggs look like. We're going to separate the whites and the yolks, put all the whites in the bowl. Make sure not to drop any shell into that yolk bowl, because that could end quite poorly. So separate them there with the egg. Not on camera. I am on camera, but I can't do it with one hand like Babish can. Don't drop that. Okay, good. Now we're going to take all these 6 egg yolks, and we're going to whip them up nice and, oh, well, first we got to clean the counter, obviously. Can't have a dirty bar. Oh, we're not going to whip them up. We're going to have some sugar. So we're going to take some sugar and put, I think this is about a 3/4 of a cup, so that's going to be a half cup, and then a 1/4 of a cup after that, or the other way. And then we're going to take it and whip it together and get it nice and incorporated. And then when it's a nice mixture, we're going to grab some rum, take that to the waiting double boiler that is already on the stove. Put that on there, and now we're going to just keep stirring it for a while, thicken it up a little bit, try to get it to a different consistency. Toss about 1 shot of rum, dark rum in there, and then just keep it going on the stove for about, I want to say 10 minutes, until it gets nice and thick. As you can see now, there's a little bit more consistency there when it drops off the whisk a little bit nicer. And now we're going to take some bacon on a hot pan, put that all on there. Now let's see if we can just watch it sizzle. I didn't have to keep this bit in there, but, you know, I just kind of wanted to. I mean, who doesn't love to watch bacon cook? Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. Beautiful. And that crushed tomato is for the rendered bacon fat that we're going to pour in there and put in the refrigerator, because you can't put that down the sink. Now we're going to have a go at the sandwich bread. So we're going to take some bakery bread, we're going to go back to the stove, and because I also don't have a panini press, because why would I have anything necessary for this recipe, we're going to use our hot griddle, put that all on the griddle, obviously with the ridges up so you get those nice grill marks. Put a pan over there, get some pressure on it, and then flip them halfway through. Make sure we have some nice grill marks on there. There we go. It's not a panini without grill marks. We're going to cut those up, and these are going to act as our kind of lady fingers in our tiramisu. So we're going to put these all on a sheet pan, get them nice and full, and we're going to dry them out in the oven. Put the oven on the lowest setting and just leave them in there while you're doing all the other stuff. Now we're going to take the bacon that we cooked earlier, and we're going to chop it up into little bacon bits. This is a substitute for our sausage that would go into the normal Homer's sandwich, but this fits a little bit more with the theme, and it's more of a accent than a main ingredient. Now we're going to use some chocolate. We're going to take this, put this in the microwave in 20-second intervals, stirring in between so you don't seize the chocolate. We're going to put a little bit of sugar in this because this is the milk chocolate from our peanut butter cup, so to say. We're going to get this, and we're going to make this a little bit more like milk chocolate. Instead, right now it's a little bit darker, a little bit heavier, but we're going to put another bit of mascarpone cheese in the food processor, and then we're going to pulse it a bit to get it nice and creamy, and then we're going to start adding the chocolate. And you can see that chocolate incorporates, going to make a nice creamy milk chocolate texture. There you go. And next, it looks like we're going to go back to the zabaione. So we're going to take the egg mixture and the mascarpone mixture. We're actually going to fold the mascarpone into the eggs to make it a nice creamy and sugary egg mixture, which we will then pour over our tiramisu. There we go, nice and creamy there. Look at that. And next, we're going to address the peanut butter in the peanut butter cups. So I was imagining this. Oh, and you got to get the bread out before it burns. But if we're going to get ready, we're going to have to get the bread together and get that out of there. Come on. Now we're going to address the peanut butter. So we're going to take a nice cake pan, and we're going to melt the chocolate in the same way that we did before. Then we're going to put it in the sheet pan, not the sheet pan, the cake pan. And we're going to put some peanut butter in there, and we're going to swirl it around nice and thick to make a peanut butter chocolate mixture. Take a back of the spoon to that and just mix it around. If it gets a little bit too consistent, add some peanut butter there. Keep some swirls in the bottom there. Make it nice and pretty so you can cover it with other stuff. Now we're going to add our Doritos or our corn chips that we crushed earlier. Then we're going to have a layer of the bread that has now been dried out. And over that, nice voice crack there. We got a nice little layer of bread. And then we're going to add this half of the zabaione that we made earlier. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. Zabaione? Anyway, add half that mixture, and then we're going to go in for the milk chocolate. And now this is going to plop on a little bit harsh, but see if we can get that spread out evenly. Nice, there we go, and it's close enough. At this point, it's all just sugar. We're going to add another layer of that crunch, see if we can get a little bit of crunch into the tiramisu and that chip layer, and then we're going to put one more layer of dried bread in there. That's our panini bread that we pressed earlier. And then we're going to add one final layer of zabaione. See if we can get that as flat as possible, get as much coverage as we can, see if we can push those little bread. No? Okay, just leave them out there. Okay, cool. Put a little bit more chips, and then finally add some bacon bits for that salt and a little bit of crunch that the sausage would have not given us if we had tried to use it. And then finally put it in the fridge for 24 hours and then take it back. You can tell time has passed because I'm wearing a different shirt. Finally, we're going to take some cocoa powder and sprinkle it over the top for a nice finishing touch. And there we go. Get a lot of cocoa powder on there. Probably should have put some sugar in here, but you live and you learn. And then finally, we're gonna get a little knife. Look at that, out of focus cross section. Not a cross section, top section. Gonna get a little knife. We're gonna plate this up nice and beautifully. Now you can see a little bit of that cross section. You can see that milk chocolate layer and that chocolate at the bottom, along with those bread layers that are gonna stick way too much. There we go. See if we can get that there. Let's get that out of the way. And let's see how this tastes. Now, there was a lot going on here. It was still pretty cold when I tasted it, and the overwhelming taste was that of sugar, vanilla, and egg with a little bit of chocolate. Peanut butter was very muted, and the bacon was honestly not really there at all. But hey, if that's what it takes to make a palatable sandwich, or sandwich tiramisu, then hey, that's what it takes. And I will say it was sugary enough for me that I kept going, and I finished. That's all I got. Not exactly the clean plate club, because there is still an entire cake pan I had to throw away later, but this plate was clean. And that is my entry into the Babish Panini Challenge. Not much of a panini, but hopefully, Babish, you'll appreciate the creativity. Thank you so much, and have a good show.